Hello to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV News Cycle. We are in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. President Bola Tinubu has approved the removal and replacement of some chief executive officers of agencies under the Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development. This was disclosed in a statement by presidential spokesman Ajiru Ngelale on Wednesday night, stating that the decision was in line with the president's determination to bring world-class standards to Nigeria's civil aviation and consumer protection and the promotion of the well-being of Nigerian passengers as well as other sectoral stakeholders. The chief executives of the agencies are Managing Director of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, Kabir Mohammed, Managing Director of Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, Tayyab Odunowo, Director General of the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB, Engineer Akinola Olateru, Director General of the Federation. Federal universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education have been taken off from the Integrated Personnel Payment System, IPPIS. Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamon, disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents alongside other ministers on the outcome of the FEC meeting. Adding that it takes immediate effect, Uyi Agwewefogwe has details.
The federal government in 2006 introduced the IPPIS as one of its reform initiatives for the effective storage of personal records, saying the move would improve transparency and accountability. The exemption approval reached during FEC's meeting at the Presidential Villa in Abuja comes as a relief to tertiary institutions across the country. According to the Minister of Education, FEC also observed that vice-chancellors of universities need not abandon their work to come to Abuja to process the salaries of their personnel.
A very happy day for the education sector because one of the problems which the vice-chancellors, rectors, and provosts of college of education, those managing the tertiary sector in Nigeria, have been complaining about have been the subscription to IPPS. You know what IPPS does? And which has made recruitment and many other activities of the university relating to personnel very, very difficult. Now today, today's council, it has been decided, the president has directed that vice chancellor should no longer or have been taken out of that service. So this is a very, very important development for the vice chancellor that will allow for efficient management of the universities and tertiary education, generally speaking. And then secondly, which is connected to that, before now, when the tertiary education institutions want to make recruitment, they have to run to the office of the head of service, you know, for waiver, for approval, for all that sort of thing. Today too, the council, through the directive of the president, has exempted them from that they will have nothing to do. They don't have to go to the office of the head of service because it is actually not in their line of supervision.
Earlier, President Bola Tinubu has sworn in Dr. Musa Aliyu as substantive chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, following his confirmation by the Senate. Others are Nantu Abdullahi, Shehu Aliyu, Rokayat Odekunle, Princess Sarah Shosho, and Dr. Festus Oyebade. The president personally administered the oath of office on the new appointees whose appointments were recently confirmed by the Senate in accordance with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Uyi Agwewefogwe, reporting for Global Television News.
Acting Governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has called for renewed unity for significant and accelerated development in the state, as evinced and pursued by Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. Aiyedatiwa made the call in a statewide broadcast to the people of the state on Thursday in Akure, the state's capital. The State House of Assembly on Wednesday pronounced Aiyedatiwa as the acting governor of the state, as Akeredolu continues to recuperate from illness. He said what happened in the past was a temporary delay in the democratic journey, urging members of the State Executive Council to come together and support him to deliver the dividends of democracy as trustees of the people with whom common humanity is shared. The acting governor appealed to the people of the state to continue to pray for Akeredolu's quick recovery. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukayode, has called for urgent and unconditional return of Nigerian stolen assets stashed in foreign countries. According to a statement posted on the Commission's X handle on Wednesday, Olukayode made the call on Tuesday at the ongoing 10th session of the Conference of State Parties to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption holding at Georgia World Congress Center, Atlanta, in the United States of America. According to him, the return of stolen assets warehoused in foreign countries has become imperative for the growth of the economy and expansion of frontiers of development within and outside Nigeria. Rivers State Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice Professor Zaccheaus Adogo has resigned. His resignation was communicated in a letter dated November 14, 2023 and addressed to Governor Siminalayi Fubara. He noted that his exit from office was based on personal principles and not connected to the political crisis currently rocking the state. Global Television will keep tracking developments in Rivers State for our viewers. In the meantime, Governor Fubara-backed Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly Edison Ehi has declared vacant the seats of 27 lawmakers who defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressive Congress, APC. He had on Tuesday obtained a court order to carry out legislative business without interference by a rival group led by Martin Amawule. Buoyed by the court protection, his fraction, which has only 4 members, met and declared the seat of the defected lawmakers vacant before receiving Governor Fubara, who presented 800 billion naira appropriation bill for the 2024 fiscal year. While the budget presentation was going on, the Rivers State government was demolishing the assembly complex, whose integrity, it says, was compromised during the explosion and fire incident, which occurred at the complex in October during an attempt by some lawmakers to initiate impeachment proceedings against Governor Fubara. Still on Rivers State, Governor Siminalayi Fubara has signed into law the 2024 appropriation bill of 800 billion naira into law. This is coming the day after he presented budget estimates to the State House of Assembly led by Edison Ehi. The signing ceremony was held on Thursday in the conference room of the governor's office at the government house. Fubara had, during his presentation to the Assembly, said the 800 billion naira budget for the 2024 fiscal year was aimed at promoting economic development through inclusive growth and addressing social economic inequality in the state. He added that the 800 billion naira, 392 billion 485 million 433,000 billion constitutes a recurrent expenditure of 361 billion 598 million 242,470 naira 85 kobo and a capital expenditure of 410 billion 266 million 485,090 naira 64 kobo. Details will come later. The Kebbi State government on Wednesday distributed 26 operational vehicles to members of the State Executive Council drawn from 21 local government areas of the state. Distributing the vehicles to the commissioner in Birnin Kebbi, the state capital, Governor Nasir Idris warned that any commissioner who sells or uses the vehicle for unofficial engagement would be sacked, saying the government is making history again because it is handing over 26 vehicles to commissioners to ease transportation challenges in the official engagements. They will also be useful for the commissioners to visit their localities to find out the challenges there. The Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Abubakar Garba, who spoke on behalf of his colleagues, assured the governor that the vehicles will be used strictly for the purpose they were meant for. The new Commissioner of Police deployed to Lagos State Police Command, Adegoke Fayode, has assumed duty. A statement by Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Handrin confirmed this on Thursday. Fayoade is taking over from Idowu Owohunwa, who was recently promoted to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police and redeployed to the AIG Force Criminal Investigation Department. FCID Annex Alagbon, Lagos, Hadoyin Fayoade in hindrance of Ile Arogon in Ogun State, joined the Nigerian Police Force on May 18, 1992. He holds a Bachelor of Arts in Education, History from Lagos State University, a Master of Public Administration from the University of Lagos, and an LLB from the National Open University of Nigeria. Moving on now, the leadership of Association of Local Government of Nigeria, ALGON, has converged on the nation's capital, Abuja, to discuss ways of ending what it termed the anti-developmental trend of appointing caretaker committee and sole administrators to oversee the affairs of local governments in Nigeria by governors. In sharp contrast to conducting elections as provided in the Constitution, the administration unanimously agrees that governors must conduct elections for growth of local government areas. Global TV correspondent Anthony Momodu has details.
President of the association, Kolade Alabi, noted that the only way citizens at the grassroots can benefit from good governance is to conduct consistent elections.
The resolution of United European Union that countries should embrace decentralized policy, that is, proper devolution of power to the local authorities. Otherwise, the countries will not be able to access the 500 billion euros.
He made a strong case for adherence to the sections of the Constitution that specifically border on the conduct of elections to decide who steers the ship of leadership at local government level.
During our visit to the National Assembly, I reiterated the importance of Senate cooperation in achieving decentralization and total autonomy for local government administration. You will all agree with me that the downstream removal of subsidies and its ensuing consequences have undeniably caused hardship. However, we remain optimistic that these sacrifices will yield positive outcomes, as there are no gains without pains.
Local government administrators from Delta, Kogi and other states lent their voices on the benefit of grassroots elections into local government positions.
The importance of democracy, or the definition of democracy, is government of the people, by the people. Therefore, it will be very wise and good if local government will always have a democratically elected representative. That will give way for maybe managing the local government resources effectively and efficiently. And equally, if you look at all this issue of security challenges, it will be very good if you have democratically elected people. They will take care of their people. But once local government is always under caretaker committee chairman, it's somebody that will be given 6 months, they don't have time to plan, talk less of executing it. So therefore, the importance of election in the local government is very, very important and is paramount.
The current move by the National Assembly to repeal the laws backing state government's interference in the administration of local government is, amongst other things, crucial and dicey. Anthony Momodu reporting for Global TV News.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has announced the pre-qualification approval for the agency's Yaba Laboratory, Lagos State, as a Central Drug Control Laboratory. The Director General of NAFDAC, Mojisola Adeyeye, disclosed this at a news conference in Abuja on Thursday. She stated that the World Health Organization had recently approved the CDCL, adding that the approval of the laboratory for the agency was a significant milestone in its dedication to ensuring the safety and quality of pharmaceutical products. When News Circle returns, COP28 ends with agreement on swift, just, equitable fossil fuel transition. The news continues shortly with details of this and more stories right after this break. Stay tuned. welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television News Cycle. And now on our foreign decks, United Nations Climate Change Conference COP28 rounded off Wednesday with an agreement that signals an end to the fossil fuel era while laying ground for a swift, just and equitable transition, underpinned by deep immersion cuts and improved financing in a demonstration of global solidarity. Negotiators from early 200 parties came together in Dubai with a decision on the world's first global stock take, GST, to scale up climate action before the end of the decade and an overarching target to keep global temperature limit within 1.5 degrees Celsius. The GST is considered the central outcome of the meeting as it contained every element that was under negotiation and can be used by countries to develop stronger climate action plans by 2025. In the short term, parties were encouraged to come forward with ambitious economy world immersion reduction targets covering greenhouse gases, sectors and categories that aligned with the 1.5 degrees Celsius limit in their next round of climate action plans known as nationally determined contributions by 2025. South Korea's military said Thursday it scrambled fighter jets as 2 Chinese and 4 Russian military planes entered its air defense zone, an area wider than the country's airspace. The Chinese and Russian planes entered and exited the Korea Air Defense Identification Zone, KAD-IZ, in the East Sea, also known as the Sea of Japan, from 11:53 a.m. to 2:53 GMT to 12:10 p.m., Seoul Joint Chiefs of Staff said. But there was no invasion of airspace, it added, and the South Korean military identified the plane before they entered the KAZ and deployed Air Force fighters jet to take tactical measures in preparation for contingencies. An air defense identification zone is a border area than a country's airspace in which it tries to control aircraft for security reasons. So the concept is not defined in any international treaty. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mian Ning described the incident on Thursday as a routine fight activity. China and Russia are North Korea's traditional allies, and Washington warned last month that military ties between Paraguay and Moscow were growing and dangerous. EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen on Wednesday backed imposing sanctions on extremist Israeli settlers responsible for attacks on Palestinians in the West Bank. Von der Leyen's comments came after European Union Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell said on Monday that he will put forward a proposal to sanction the West Bank settlers.
We must give Ukraine what it needs to be strong today so that it can be stronger tomorrow at the table when it is negotiating a long-lasting and just peace for Ukraine.
And now on business, the House of Representatives Committee on Solid Minerals Development has made a case for scaled-up budgetary allocations to the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development for the 2024 fiscal year to bolster the mining sector contribution to diversification of the economy. At the Budget Defense session of the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, the Chairman House Committee on Solid Minerals, Honorable Justice Guofio, asserted that Nigeria poses the solid minerals required to attract the needed foreign exchange to grow the nation's economy and substantially contribute to a gross domestic product, GDP. Fawzia Lukman has more.
In the 70s, the solid mineral sector was accounting for over 50% of contributions to the GDP as against today, where it is only contributing a measure of 0.65% to the GDP. However, the present administration says it has placed priorities on the solid mineral sector for more revenue generation. Chairman House Committee on Solid Minerals stated that his enthusiasm about the impending revamp of the mining sector dampened upon receiving the 2024 budgetary estimate of the ministry, which he declared as grossly inadequate to make any significant impact in the very critical sector. The House Committee Chairman consequently pledged the House of Representatives' resolve to not only substantially increase budgetary allocations to the mining sector, but also work with executive to institutionalize reforms through the requisite legislative framework.
The House of Representatives will not rest on its oars to form strategic partnerships with the executive, the minister and all the agencies to make sure we make good on the oath of office we swore to at our respective inaugurations. To this end, we have taken proactive steps to put up motions and bills that will strengthen and bring about reorganization and restructuring in line with the 7-point agenda of the Honorable Minister.
In his presentation, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, reiterated that the commitment of the federal government to diversify the nation's economy through solid minerals. He emphasized that at least 44 economically viable minerals have been discovered, asserting that the imperative of sanitizing the sector and providing an enabling environment for mining operations cannot be overemphasized.
In today's world, there is a general clamor, global clamor for energy transition into green energy. So, the meaning or implication is that fossil fuel, hydrocarbons, oil, petroleum, that we rely solely on is no longer in fashion and is going out. And in a couple of years down the line, if we are not careful, we may find ourselves as a society in an economic dire straits.
To sanitize the mining environment, the minister revealed that issues of insecurity is being tackled with interagency collaborations alongside the Minister of Defense to create a new security architecture that will feature an infusion of a huge dose of technology.
The nation and previous administrations had shut their eyes against this gold in quotes that we have under the ground. In fact, you yourself know more than I do, Mr. Chairman, that when you do a comparative analysis of the countries that survive on solid minerals in today's world, they are numerous. And some of them don't even have these minerals as much as we do.
Alake recalled the conceptualization of his 7-point agenda on the assumption of office, followed by his efforts to redirect local and global attention to the mining sector, which he noted has so far generated far-reaching global interest in Nigeria's mineral resources. Fauziya Lukman, Global TV News.
A World Bank report has indicated that Nigerians' poverty level has taken a notch higher at the backdrop of the recent economic and fiscal reform. The key reforms include the removal of petrol subsidy and for foreign exchange market rate restructuring. The bank, however, commended the federal government for what it considered bold reforms necessary to rescue Nigerians from fiscal cliff, describing the current pains as temporary, but it also said the policies have created intense pressure on cost of living, which have pushed more Nigerians into hardship. With 104 million now living below the poverty line, the World Bank report also indicated that the number of poor people in Nigeria had grown from 95 million in 2021 to 100 million in 2022. While the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, NBS, indicated that the figure was 82.9 million in 2019 and 85.2 million in 2020. It further stated inflation remains at record high levels for Nigeria, 27.3% year-on-year. In October 2023, partly driven by the one-off price impact of the removal of the gasoline subsidy. Federal government has charged stakeholders in the export sector to move from exploitation to proper importation. This is coming after identifying poor consumption as one of the utmost challenges being faced at open market. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Doris Uzoka Anete, gave the charge at the Nigerian Trade Dialogue and official launch of the Trade Policy of Nigeria 2023-2027 in Abuja. That's it on Global News Cycle. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. See you again.